Hey you guys, it's Keegan. Welcome back to the channel if you are returning, and if you're new here, welcome. It's good to meet you. I'm actually not going to be doing a camera facing me today. I actually have a limited amount of time today to record, and so during that window I only had time to set up enough to basically film the spread. But you guys will be seeing me in some upcoming videos. Some of you know that my birthday is actually on Halloween, so this month is always really special to me. I've always loved this time of year, and I decided the channel needed to reflect that. So what I'm doing for you guys today is a reading for anyone who has been ghosted, and that is why we have our little visitors here on the screen with us, in case you hadn't figured that out yet. So what we're going to look at is we're going to look at the recent past between the two of you, your fears, their fears, the block between the two of you, and the outcome. I'm going to do this in a pretty traditional sense in that the top card is going to give us insight. The bottom card is going to show what is sort of at the core or the root or underneath that card, and we'll just work our way across. I'm maybe using the Rider-Waite deck. You can give this a couple more shuffles. I did shuffle before starting to film. I hope that's not super loud for you guys. Let's give this a couple of cuts. One more. And okay, so again, we're looking for information, insight, guidance, healing information for any of the viewers who watch this video who have been ghosted. Okay. One more shuffle. So let's see what's going on with you guys. I'm just going to go ahead and pull the cards out. I'll talk to you about them a little as I'm going. So for the recent past, you have the Queen of Cups coming out with a star, both upright. For your fears, you have Justice. Ooh. Underneath that, you have the King of Swords. For them, they have the World card reversed with the Ace of Wands reversed. The block between the two of you, you have the Five of Cups coming out upright. Seven of Wands also upright. How come you do have the Sun card? It came out reversed, but the Sun card, even when it is reversed for me, it's not necessarily a bad card. And then the Four of Wands reversed as well. Okay, so very interesting. I feel like this is not very bright. Let me try to adjust this. A moment, guys. Too bright. Right, that's a little bit better. Okay. So let's get started here just in terms of the recent past between the two of you. So coming out at the top here in terms of the energy of the most recent past, you have the Queen of Cups. And this is very interesting to me because this really does represent a very caring, emotionally balanced, emotionally open sort of energy. There's a lot of compassion that's associated with the Queen of Cups. And underneath that, we have the Star. And the Star has come out upright. So this is an interesting energy because, you know, this is a card of hope and faith and healing, things being rebuilt, things really leaning into spirituality and your faith. Okay, so I think in the most recent past, at least for the person who's listening to me, I feel like you walked away from this feeling very much hopeful and feeling that this was a connection that was very loving, very solid, something that you could trust in, something that you could rely on. Now, again, I'm doing this reading for people who have been ghosted. So obviously, if you've clicked through on this, something has happened here. Whatever this connection was in the recent past, something occurred. And I sort of want to take a look at that just to see what wants to come out. Reaching for a different deck here. I'm going to use the Fountain deck. See what wants to come out. Clarify the recent past. What caused this ghosting to occur? What caused this relationship with the Queen of Cups to... Alright. There's our answer. You guys want to see it? Let's see what it is. Let's see what it is. So we have the Emperor coming out upright. Okay, well, again, I mean, I don't necessarily get a negative vibe from this. What I do get from this, however, in terms of the Emperor, is that it almost seems like, how can I phrase this? So it seems like one person, I'm going to say at least one person in this relationship, they felt like they had to be almost like a father figure. That's what I'm getting. And so don't get caught up on that if you know, in terms of the gender, but it's like it felt parental. So even though there was a lot of love, even though there was a lot of support here in terms of this relationship, the clarifier coming out, the Emperor on its own is not necessarily a bad card, but in clarifying why did this relationship end, why did this, which is good, how did we get to the point of being ghosted, it feels very much like one person felt a bit like the relationship was more parental to them in nature than being a romantic relationship, and it made that person just pull away and ghost. And it feels very much energetically for me like saying, you know, I can either go, and I know that's going to hurt if I just ghost them and I stop talking to them and I cut this off, but I feel like it's going to be worse if I break up with them and give them the explanation of why, which is that for me, this didn't feel like a romantic type of connection. I felt like I was having to take care of this person. I was having to, pull them together and piece them together and hold them together because they couldn't do it for themselves. And I don't want to add that layer to it. So if I'm already going to hurt them by the breakup, if I'm already going to be the bad guy because of that, I would rather just leave and not have to give the explanation, because to them, they felt like the explanation was going to be something that you couldn't take. Now, what's interesting here in part, I'm already jumping ahead a little bit, because in your fears, you have Justice coming out with the King of Swords. They're both upright. So justice, it represents the truth. It represents clarity. It's fair speaking. The King of Swords is the exact same energy. And this is something that you are terrified of. You're really scared of this person telling you the truth of why this happened, because I think you know that this was something that it had potential. It had lots of potential, and it was based in love. But I think you know that the reason that this person did what they did was because of this lopsided dynamic. And you actually didn't want to hear this. I almost feel like they tried in different ways to explain this. They tried in different ways to point this out, to let you know that this was something that they had an issue with. I just want to say, like, this can be reversed energy, because I can already tell some people are getting worked up and feeling attacked. I'm not attacking you. I'm just telling you, you clicked on a video, you wanted to know why this person did what they did. I'm explaining it to you. I'm not saying it's true. You don't have to own anything unless it, feels like something that you personally need to work on. I'm just telling a story from the cards, okay? So don't come at me saying I said anything about you, because I'm just telling you what this person thinks, okay? But I feel like you were at least aware, whether you agreed with it or not, you were aware that this person felt this way. And your fear was having them actually tell you this. Now, with Justice and the King of Swords coming out, in my opinion, these are actually really good cards, but they're in the place of your fears. So clearly, there's some fear that you have around the truth, around this person actually speaking the truth. And I feel that for them, whether it's right or wrong about you, how they feel, that would have been the truth for them. That it felt more like they were put into a role of a parent, and that made it hard for them to see you as an equal partner, if that makes sense. So let's look at their fears here, because this is something that's really interesting. Now, they do have the World coming out reversed. And what I get from this energetically is absolutely a feeling of the fear that they have here is that they're not going to be able to actually get closure from this because of the fact that they ghosted. I do feel like this person is someone who ideally would have rather been like this King of Swords, this Emperor, right? That energy around them feels like someone who really would rather just speak the truth and be honest and be direct. But because of how intense the emotions feel, the fears feel here about when the truth is spoken, when they tried to be honest, when they tried to be really open and direct, so many fears were triggered within you that it made you become defensive. And anything that they said to you was just it, you labeled it as an attack or them being mean or cruel. And in reality, I just feel like, they were trying to be really honest, they were trying to be really direct with you, but they always held back a little bit because they didn't feel like you could take the full brunt of what they think or what they feel. And they actually did try to soften this by just disappearing. But their fear here is that they aren't going to be able to get closure on this. They aren't going to be able to sort of move on because it's incomplete. Because for them, they feel like they owe you an explanation. They just don't want to tell you the explanation because they know that's going to hurt you even more. Okay? What's underlying this is really interesting because they have the Ace of Wands and it's reversed. And so this really represents two things to me. One is they do feel like this was an opportunity that could have worked if there had just been, if they'd been able to be honest and be heard, and to have you understand, like, look, I can I agree that in a relationship at sometimes each of us will have to step up and carry the weight when the other person is knocked down, basically. But that's all that they experienced of you, was having to sort of pick you up and put you back together and try to keep you from having, like falling apart again. And, if that's the place that you were in when you got to this relationship, what I will say is that that's not a good time to go into a relationship when you are in a space where you can't figure out your own life and you can't get control of your emotions, and there's so much pain that you're trying to deal with. Like, yes, you should rely on friends and people who are close to you, who care about you and love you. You should turn to those people to help support you as you work through those things. But that's the absolute worst possible time to get into a relationship with someone, is when you're at like your lowest point, because you're not giving them what they deserve in terms of being in a relationship. You're not actually able to give them a good relationship. And it feels like, I don't feel like you meant to do this, but you got involved with this person when you were at a very low point, and it just triggered all these fears. And you knew, I feel like most of you, if this is resonating, you knew that you weren't showing up as your best. You weren't showing them what you were really like in a relationship. And it felt so good to have someone taking care of you that you just kept it. It's almost like you got addicted to it, and you just kept doing that. You just kept doing that. I'm moving on again. I'm sorry. I get involved in the readings and I forget to tell you guys when I'm sort of moving on, but I'm actually talking about this Five of Cups energy here, because if you look, this is the card where it's like crying over spilled milk, and this person is focused on the 3 cups that have, toppled over, that have spilled. There are still 2 cups here. This is what I think. I think you knew this is what you were doing, that you could have turned around and said, hey, you know what? There is all this stuff, but I've met someone, and, you've been awesome. And I'm sorry that I've been, needing so much of you. Like, you couldn't manage to engage in the present because you were so stuck in the past. And this person, I feel like they tried. They really did try. Because underneath this, right, in terms of the block, you have the 7 of Wands, which has come out upright. I'm going to get some water, guys. Hold on one second. Okay, so underneath this, what I'm getting from this is this. I think both of you are in a space where you're very guarded right now in terms of your emotions and your energies. There was a lot that happened. This was a huge, challenging, tumultuous sort of moment for the two of you. This here, right? Like, knowing in your heart what this was, knowing what was getting in the way, knowing your fears were being triggered, them really feeling like, I don't want to walk away from this, but there's no way, I can't, make this work and I can't figure out how to end it. And so I just need to just go. And then both of you getting into this energy of just being, it was so hard, it was so tough. I just need to protect myself for a little bit. But both of you are still sort of looking backwards instead of looking at what could be, right? So because both of you are still stuck in this old energy, the person listening to me much more so, because you also have all this stuff that got in your way when this relationship started, whether it's like you met this person and feeling the way you felt about them just triggered all of these fears of abandonment, or, it almost feels like how good it felt and how happy you were, it triggered a lot of these fears within you that made you start to act a certain way and to really, I don't want to say test, but in a way test, almost like confirm that this person would be able to handle you at your worst, or this person would be able to handle you when you were super emotional, or that this person wouldn't leave. All those fears. And when this person would be honest with you, when this person would speak the truth, when this person would try to say, hey, I get it, you've had some tough times, but I don't want to stay there. I don't want to stay in bad times. I don't want to stay in this really painful energy. I don't like seeing you hurt. I don't like seeing you sad. What do you need to do to work through this? Instead of you being in a space where you could say, oh, I hear you, you felt like that was him attacking you because you were trying to find some fault in this. You were trying to find something that was wrong. You were trying to find some reason to be able to doubt it, any little thing that you could find, right, within this truth that they were speaking to you, that you could make it mean they didn't care, or they were, coming after you, or anything like that. It was like that. It became like evidence in like the trial against them is what it feels like. I mean, with justice, that's what it feels like. That, they would be honest, but then you would use that as sort of like evidence into, why you shouldn't trust them, or why you shouldn't open up, or why they were, about to leave, or reasons to make this not seem like what it really was. Because it's, again, these cards were so confusing for me. I had to clarify to just get insight energetically into what happened, because this was a good thing. This really was a good thing. But the fears here, for the person listening to me, your fears got in the way. But the good thing here is that for them, they don't feel like this is done. They don't feel like this is complete. They don't feel like it's closed out. They do feel like they've missed an opportunity. I feel like both of you are being blocked by looking back on what was lost and not thinking about how this could be something that maybe has a future, or even just what is the next step. Even if we don't get back together right now, what's the next step to move out of this, to make sure that this energy gets cleared, this world card flips, so that can close out. Whatever that old was can close out, and there can be something new. But you're so focused on this. And you're both really tired right now, so you don't even really feel like you want to put much effort into this. But you do have the Sun card. It came out reversed, but for me, that's not a bad thing. It just represents, I think, some of the sadness, a little bit of depression that both of these people, it's this, right? Like, not the best of times. It's a little bit depressed, but the Sun card is the most positive card that's in the deck. So even when it comes out reversed, it does indicate a good outcome, a potential good outcome. You have here the Four of Wands. It's reversed. And I think this is just saying that you have to work on your own inner foundation, your own finding like peace within yourself, healing those things that healing these fears. Okay, for the person listening to me, healing these fears is what you have to focus on, and you can do it because you have the Sun card coming out here as the outcome. But when you heal, when these things are healed, because this is what's underlying this energy, this is what's keeping the Sun reversed right now, basically, is a need to heal this inner pain and to find a peace and a harmony and a balance within yourself. And that's what is going to heal the conflict going on here. Because when you do that, when you are able to heal that, then the Sun flips and it's all positivity. And you already have the Queen of Cups and the Star here. This feeling that they had about being the caretaker, that's not going to exist anymore, because you're going to be able to listen to the truth. You're going to be able to hear the truth. You're going to be able to take that in and realize that this person is not being malicious. This person is just very honest. This person is wanting to talk about things that need to be dealt with so that the relationship can be healthier, so that the relationship can evolve. And when you realize that, okay, well, sometimes this person might tell me things that I don't necessarily want to hear. They might tell me things that hurt me a little bit, but they don't hold back. They're very honest. It could be an air sign that you're dealing with, because it's a very air sign type of energy, that I would rather tell you the truth and have that potentially hurt you or cause us to have a rough spot than to lie to you or mislead you, because I respect you too much to lie to you or to mislead you, right? Because for them, again, this was an opportunity they feel they missed. They're looking back on it with regret. This hasn't closed out for them. They're really hurt and wounded by this, and they're having to, process that and get through that energy. Plus, you have the Sun card coming out, so there's lots of good here. But this is where everything needs to be focused on: the fears of the person who's actually listening to me right now. So what I want to do is I just want to clear these. I'm actually going to clear this little overlay as well. I think I'm going to put these back in the deck. There we go. Okay, so what I want to do here is I'm just going to go through each of the signs for you guys to wrap this up. So for the person listening to me, I'm going to go through the signs of the person that did the ghosting. Okay, so I'll start with Aries and I'll work my way through all the signs just to give some additional insight into what's going on with that person, why they did what they did. Okay, so for Aries, I have the Four of Swords coming out upright with the the King of Wands reversed. So right now, if you're dealing with an Aries, this person they've pulled away their energy, but it's not fully 100% withdrawn from you. They've just gone inward to think about this, to process it, to just try to find their own sense of peace around it, and to figure out what needs to happen next. But they have pulled their energy away. This, I think, is what's really interesting, because this King of Wands coming out reversed, there's a little bit of interesting energy on it for me. The first thing that I get from it is that what you have probably missed more than this person pulling their energy away is the passion that you had for this person. So if you were dealing with Aries, it was probably a really passionate type of interaction, like the sex would have been really good. And you missed that. That's the thing that you missed the most about this person. And so this is indicating to me energetically that that's been turned off. That typical King of Wands type of vibe, it's been turned off. But the other thing that I get here from this is that this person, their energy feels very impulsive right now. And I almost feel like, let's see what's on the bottom. Okay, yeah. So what I was going to say is I almost feel like this person is debating whether or not to come forward and approach you. And I do feel like with the Three of Pentacles coming out here, this represents teamwork, collaboration. So I do feel like they are considering this, and it's almost like they're being very impulsive. Look at this. You have the Three of Cups. So they're definitely going to be reaching out. But it's like that decision feels like it's very, like something that they do very hastily. So I don't know if perhaps this card too, with the people like raising the glasses, I feel like you might get a drunk text or a drunk call from this person. It's like they've been thinking about it, and then they're going to be, inhibitions are lowered a little bit, and then boom, they're out with friends, or they're, something's going on, and they think of you, and it's a very impulsive decision. Yeah, Page of Swords. It's going to happen pretty soon too. Yeah, and the Page of Swords for me also represents more modern, fast type of communication or messages. So I would say email, text. It could even be that they, suddenly like go through and like a bunch of the things like, on your Instagram, or they like your profile photo on Facebook, or they suddenly follow you again on social media, that type of thing. I just want to do one more for Aries just to see. So we have the Page of Wands coming out reversed here. Well, so I don't think that this is going to necessarily... It's interesting. I feel like this person is going to reach out. They're going to do it in a very indirect way, meaning I don't think you're going to get a phone call. They're not going to show up or meet you to talk to you face to face. I do feel like it's probably going to be a very impulsive, hasty decision on their part. So again, it could be something they do when they're drinking, or maybe if they're just, something triggers them when they're hanging out with friends. Someone mentions you, or they're at a place where you used to go, and it's an impulsive decision. But I don't feel like it's going to be a very passionate message. I think it's just going to be like a testing the waters sort of message if you're dealing with an Aries. And let me know what you think about doing this type of reading where it is just an overall reading for the topic, and then working through the signs for either for you or for the other person, whichever makes the most sense. Okay, so let's move on to Taurus. If you're dealing with a Taurus, well, they're not in a good space. Yeah, so you have the Nine of Swords coming out here reversed. It's not as bad for me as when this card is upright. When it's upright, that's just like, that's the nightmare card, right? So like, it's even when you're trying to sleep, you can't sleep, or it's still going on, it's still tormenting you. When this card is reversed, it's still really intense and it's still very heavy, but for me, it represents more of starting to deal with those things that haunt you, starting to deal with those fears or those worries or that pain that's super, super difficult, and it hurts to try to touch it. You have the Empress coming out reversed here. I don't really like this energy because it feels a little bit like this is blocked in some way. This processing is blocked for the Taurus. Yeah, it's so this Taurus feels like a kind of an immature sort of energy to me. And if there's a cross watcher watching, I don't know why a cross watcher would watch this, so I think I can speak a little bit honestly here. So if this is a Taurus that ghosted you, I feel like they're kind of immature. It could be that they're younger than you, but I just feel like an emotional immaturity, like even like how they love is a little bit immature. This Empress being reversed also just makes me feel like they've dug their heels in about this. It's probably taken them a long time. It's probably been a long time since you've heard from this person if you're dealing with a Taurus, because they've been really avoiding dealing with this and not wanting to embrace it, not wanting to actually go through the process and heal it. This Four of Cups is interesting to me because it's almost like they're not really here. Okay, they're a little bit immature, or they're younger than you. They know what they need to deal with, but they're not really dealing with it right now. But they're thinking about you. They're thinking about the relationship. They are reevaluating things. I do feel like, again, it's like they're trying to figure out whether or not they want to reach out. But if they do reach out, they're going to reach out with this King of Pentacles reversed energy. That's not good. Like, that's not, like, if that's how they come towards you, yeah, like, if this is what they come towards you as, is this reverse King of Pentacles, which is just this very selfish, sort of like stubborn, arrogant, sort of not serious about the relationship or the connection. It's just they don't want to deal with this, so they want to deal with you, right? Like, well, I don't want to deal with this stuff, so I'm going to see if they'll pay attention to me and let me back in, so I can not have to deal with this, or at least they can distract me for a while. That's what this feels like. Unless, you have to demand this. You have to demand temperance. You have to demand that it's fair, that it's equal, that, they're not coming at you with immaturity or coming at you with this energy. No. So if you're dealing with a Taurus, they might reach out, but I wouldn't necessarily, I don't think they're coming in with where you want them to be. Just be aware of that. I did see the Tower peak. I think that's still something with Taurus. I feel like if they do come towards you with that energy, it could actually trigger a tower moment, like an additional tower moment. So hopefully they don't reach out. If they do reach out in a way that you can like not interact with them, I don't even know if I'd recommend responding. Honestly, I don't feel good about the energy. So let's look at Gemini. Clarified coming out. 3 of Swords reversed. Okay. Wow. Okay, well, if you're dealing with a Gemini, I will say that overall the energy I feel here is a good energy. The Hierophant coming out upright, that's good to me. I feel that there's a certain level of I don't want to use like spiritual knowledge, but this person has attained a certain amount of spiritual insight into themselves, and I feel that that is what they want to come forward to talk about. This Knight of Swords, I do feel that they are going to come in very quickly, and this is what they want to discuss. Okay, they want to discuss this justice reversed. For them, they feel that they feel like you were dishonest about something, and they've sort of been beating themselves up about this, but now they realize that there's probably something that you haven't told them, that you haven't been honest about, and they're aware of that. They have that knowledge now, and they want to come in to talk about it. But I feel like this conversation, yeah, you know, we have the Ten of Swords coming out here. It's reversed. This is really sort of a lot of resisting an ending to this and being stuck in the pain, not letting it sort of flip and be done, actually closing out. Two of Cups reversed. This person doesn't, if you're dealing with the Gemini, I'm just going to be honest with you guys, they don't trust you right now. They think you lied about something. I think that they feel that you really played some games with them, and they want to come in and confront you about it. And yeah. Empress reversed again. Okay. I do feel like this person's going to come in, and they're going to come in pretty intensely. I'm just going to tell you. You know, you have the Three of Swords, you have the Ten of Swords, you have the Five of Swords coming out reversed. This Five of Swords reversed does, for me, represent this notion of being interested in reconciliation, being interested in making amends, but you also are coming from a place where you have a lot of resentment from the past that needs to be dealt with first. This energy, just this 5 and this 10 of this Knight of Swords, if you're dealing with a Gemini, they're going to come in, they're going to be very guns blazing with you. You know, you respond to that how you feel you need to respond to it. I think that for them, they're just more interested in having the conversation that they think they need to have with you versus really being that concerned about whether you're upset with them or the conversation goes well or it's an argument. They're ready to come in and put everything down on the table. So let's look at Cancer. Dealing with a Cancer, they are not doing well with this at all. They, you know, sleepless nights, lots of pain, lots of anxiety. They are really beating themselves up. They are going through their head. They feel like they, you know, can't even trust their own thoughts or own feelings with this. They feel like Ten of Cups reversed coming out here. They've really pulled away. They're disconnected from, you know, a lot of their friends, a lot of their own connections. They've pulled away. It's not just your connection, I feel, with this person that's having some issues. I feel like most of their relationships are having issues. Again, the Fool, they've just pulled they've pulled back. This person, if you're dealing with a Cancer, could be also really heavily drinking. they could be doing some pretty reckless stuff to try to numb this or avoid it. You know, this card is kind of weird to me. I don't know. Okay. So that's what that is about. I feel like for you guys, one of the things that happened here in terms of what caused this problem between the two of you, what made this person ghost or you know, led to the issues that caused that. For them, putting in the investment into this relationship, working to try to like flip this and have a good relationship and embrace being in it and deal with this pain, deal with this stuff that's sort of getting in their way. For them, it was too much work. That's what it feels like, and the seriousness of it, it's sort of what I was saying at the beginning, but this feels much more immature. I don't feel necessarily that like this Cancer doesn't feel like they have the same vibe as like that Emperor energy. It almost just feels like they were like, oh, you know, I don't want to, this is so much work. I'm having to work so much. I'm having to, you know, it almost feels like they're saying like, you know, you keep holding me accountable. You keep making me, you know, I can't just get away with saying I'm sorry. And again, this could be reversed, but this is supposed to be about the Cancer in your life. Yeah, there's no movement from this person right now. They're in their head, they're stuck, they're not wanting to put in the effort, they're not wanting to put in the work. I don't see them reaching out right now. Let's look at Leo. Okay. Okay, if you're dealing with a Leo right now, they are in a space where they feel very much in control of themselves. They feel very um, it's like they feel in control of their life. Not necessarily like they have everything under control, but they're enjoying being the authority of their own life and being able to do what they want to do when they want to do it, not having to run it by anyone. They do feel like they have a lot of pain and that they're hurting, but they are also honestly, I'm just gonna tell you guys how it is, okay? Um, they are out there, they're dating, they're you know playing the field. They have lots of people that are giving them attention, lots of people who are you know keeping them entertained. Um, but they are thinking back. They are thinking back to um, like they're wanting to find something again that feels real, because this feels very superficial. Like this just feels like hookups and random things and you know just really people being sort of like entertainment. But what they really want is for something that's a little bit more long term, but they aren't wanting to they don't want to share that right now. They're not, yeah, this you know they're not wanting to deal with this yet. They're wanting to just keep themselves entertained. Again, they're going to do what they want to do, and this is something, it's there, but they aren't putting any effort into it because they're distracting themselves. So even though they want something, they have to deal with this pain first, and they're not going to be doing anything about that right now. It's not the space that they're in for Leo. All right, let's take a look at Virgo. Okay, what's going on with Virgo? Okay. Well, all right, so if you're dealing with a Virgo right now, They have the Hangman coming out reversed with the Hermit reversed. So again, they're not going to be coming forward to reach out. But I will tell you, just in case I feel like for some reason, some of you who are dealing with Virgos feel worried about them. And I think it's because they have pulled away so much and they have cut themselves off so much. And you are actually shocked that this person has maintained the silence for as long as they have. And it's actually made you concerned. But really, they're just focusing on being with their friends, enjoying their life, doing things that make them happy. They're feeling very solid right now, very stable. There is a how do I want to say this? It's like they're just really enjoying right now, feeling like everything is calm and stable in their life. I think this definitely, the Virgo energy harkens very much to what I was saying in that main reading, where this person just got really overwhelmed by needing to take care of someone else because it made their life seem very unstable and very out of control. And Virgos hate that, right? So because they realized, you know what, I can't actually solve their problems for them. I can't actually do it. They're not going to let me. Plus, even if they did say, okay, well, you fix my life, I can't fix their life. They have to fix it. That's so much stress for a Virgo that they were just like, I'm done. I'm out. They're not planning to re-engage at least anytime in the near future because they're really focusing on themselves, the friends that they know they can trust, and they're just enjoying having things be calm. So again, that's why doing the work of sort of showing, hey, you know what? I understand what happened. I'm stable now on my own. I'm able to take care of myself. My life is not chaos. My life is not crazy. You can trust me. I can be there to, help you. It's not going to be as stressful as it was. That's the only way to get that Virgo to sort of come back and reconnect. So for Libra, they don't feel like this is over and they are interested in reaching out to you. They do feel like they're going to actually come in a very specific way. That's important with this card. Okay. So this person they are going to come in because this is something that they feel they have to get a different type of closure on than what they have. So they do want to come in to talk, but they're going to do it in a very, like I said, controlled manner. And right now they're just exerting a lot of self-control because they know that they're in a space where they need to protect themselves is what they feel like because they're overwhelmed by it all. They're exhausted from everything that went on between the two of you. And so for Libra, it's like, yeah, I need to be in this energy. They need to get back to that Libra type of a vibe of not being so down, not being so exhausted, not being so emotionally worn down from this, and being able to say, hey, you know what? We can hang out, we can talk, but it has to be fun. We can't, like, you need to make a choice. If you want to be with me, then there can't be all this pain all the time because I don't like it. I'm not into it. I don't find it sexy. I don't find it cute. I don't find it entertaining. It drains me. It makes me sad and depressed. I don't like being sad and depressed. So you need to change how you are energetically. You need to deal with the stuff that gets in your way, all this like crappy stuff you believe about yourself that I'm hearing that. Like, I don't believe this stuff. You do. And I can't convince you that if I tell you I don't believe it, you feel like I'm fighting with you. This energy is very, very intense. Yeah, the Empress coming out reversed. They will reach out, but it's not going to be for a while. And when they do reach out, it's going to be in a very controlled way because they're going to want to see if approaching you from that manner, approaching you from this sort of non-emotional energy, what you do, what decision you make. Because when they are back into this, when they're in that sun energy and they're fully in their energy, they can come in and be very detached from this, but still be sincere and still be honest. And if you react really emotionally, then they'll be like, well, nothing's changed here. right? So if you want to have this, Libra have interest again, then you really have to be able to have, done the work and have your emotions in check and under your control, and to be able to talk more than emote with them. Let's see what's going on with Scorpio. Oh, okay. Well, dealing with Scorpio, they do feel that, they're very much in their emotions, very much in their their inner world. They're Scorpios or I'm a Scorpio. Scorpios are a little bit hard to explain, because what's going on with the Scorpio right now is they are reflecting on this lost opportunity, but they aren't reflecting on it like going back and thinking about how things happened. Like, they're not reviewing it like in a linear time. They're reviewing it through an emotional feeling sort of review. So it's, yeah, judgment reversed. So basically what's going on with the Scorpio is they're looking at all of their role. They're thinking about what they did, and they're really right now looking at their side of it. They're thinking about patterns that they've repeated, mistakes that they've made before, lessons they didn't learn. They're going through all that first. And that's pretty typical of a Scorpio, in that before a Scorpio really looks at the other person and what the other person did and trying to process that, they go through this whole self-judgment phase first, because they need to get that stuff out of the way so that their emotions can be clear, so that they can actually separate out what pain was self-inflicted, basically. And then when they get that out of the way, when they clear that energy, then they can look at the other person, because then they're left with, okay, well, I didn't do this to myself, so that has to be the other person. And it's the way that Scorpios make their decisions. It's the way that Scorpios deal with sort of not really knowing, not being able to separate at times their emotions from the emotions and feelings of another person. It can be challenging for Scorpios to do that. So they have to go through this judgment thing first. You have the Page of Cups coming out here reversed, which is interesting, because I feel like this is showing that if you're dealing with Scorpio, that Scorpio in particular, they're doubting. They have some doubt currently around, I think, both whether or not this is something that they want to go back to, whether or not it's an opportunity they want to pick back up, and also they're doubting a lot of the emotional part of it. I feel like they're really having a hard time either owning the things that they did, like really they're struggling with taking responsibility for their side of it and how much they actually did contribute to it, or they're having a hard time letting you off the hook. That's what I'm hearing about some of it. Knight of Swords coming out reversed here. There's a possibility that the Scorpio might just randomly reach out if they give into that impulse, but I really feel like most likely right now this they're just not focused the way that they should be. It also plays into this doubt here. It's almost like, yeah, this hurts so much. This was so much pain that it's just taking them a long time to deal with it, a long time to sort through it, because there was just a lot to unpack. And Scorpios they don't halfway do it. So whatever they need to feel, whatever pain they need to feel, whatever sorrow and everything about it, yeah, they're not gonna. They're really emotional right now, and they're cut off and they're cold. They're not going to be. If you're dealing with Scorpio, they're not going to be engaging on this right now, because they're very much just inside themselves and inside their own feelings. And that's just phase one of like multiple phases that they'll need to go through before they're ready to have any sort of contact. So let's look at Sagittarius here. The Sun reversed, coming out with the King of Swords. Okay. Well, this person does want to come forward and speak the truth. They do want to clarify a lot. They want to share things that they've been thinking about. They want answers to things. They want, truth to be had. The Sun card represents that if you're dealing with Sagittarius, this person would be coming forward from an honest, truthful space, but it's just going to be delayed. It's not going to be something that happens in the immediate future, but I feel like it's something that they are thinking about. they're just not ready yet. They're not ready to, they're holding back right now from speaking the truth that they want to share. Again, and it would be true, it would be honest. They want to talk about this relationship. They want to talk about, the fact that this isn't something that feels done to them. I don't think that it does feel done to them. I think that they are trying right now to figure out a way of coming. They're really spending a lot of time replaying all of the stuff that happened in the relationship. They're very much living in the past about this relationship ending, and they're putting a lot of effort into their thinking because they don't want to. They don't feel like this is something that's done, but they also don't know exactly what to come forward to say to you right now. Once they figure that out, though, once they feel that they know, like they've gotten through this energy and they're clear about how they want to approach you, they will do it, and it will be in a very surprising way to you. I think the energy that they'll come in with when they do come in, which that's up in the air. Like they're very, the full reversed over here. I want to clarify, we have the Two of Swords coming out reversed. It's, they're cut off right now, 100%. They're not hearing from this person, Sagittarius. You haven't heard from them, but they are dealing with a lot of this pain. They're trying to figure out how to come forward and be really honest. They're trying to come forward and try to offer, stability. They want to see if they can have that sort of stable, connection with you. It's interesting, as I've laid the cards out, this just looks very structured and stable, and I feel like that's what they want to be able to come in to offer to you. So they will eventually come forward, but I feel like it's not going to be anything that happens in the near future. So let's look at Capricorn. I'm really hoping I haven't skipped any. If I did, I apologize. Maybe that sign just didn't have anything they wanted to say. But for Capricorn, Ace of Swords reverse coming out with the Emperor. The Emperor has made several appearances here. I think this is the third of these mini ones. It was in that main spread as well. Yeah, this is an interesting vibe. I feel that this Emperor is dealing with a situation where they feel that their judgment wasn't clear, and that bothers them because they really typically pride themselves on making good decisions, having good judgment, being rational. But I feel like with you, they feel like it wasn't really clear. There was a big tower moment that happened between the two of you guys. Again, the star card, these towers around the star. That's just yeah, this just feels like self-doubt to me. It's like this tower moment for this Emperor is confusing for them because on one hand they feel like their judgment was cloudy, that they need to think about something again. And when they think about this tower moment and they try to think of it from a different perspective, they just get into this place of, it just feels like hope. Oh, sorry, I'm going to try to remember to edit that cough out. Yeah, I feel like this person is not going to be speaking anytime soon. Like my throat literally just got super dry and closed up. Okay, so if you're dealing with a Capricorn, what I'm getting here is that when they think about this and they think, well, maybe there's a different way I can think about this, they get very into this, they just feel like this hope that they can't explain, and they aren't willing to accept that as being an answer because they feel like they need to have an answer. They need to have a concrete answer, right? This Ace of Swords, they want to have that upright where it's this mental clarity, but this is not mental. This is emotional. There could have been a third party involved here. Yeah, there was a third party involved here. I feel like I don't think it matters. I think you'll know if you're dealing with a Capricorn whether they were the person that had the third party or if it was you. But I feel like this, if it, okay, they're telling me I need to explain both. Okay, so if you're dealing with a Capricorn and they had another person, they cheated, they had an affair, that person is now thinking that maybe they didn't think this through clearly, that they had clouded judgment, that they rushed to a decision, and it's making them emotional. It's making them get into their feelings because they're thinking back to this tower moment with you, and they feel like they were, now they feel left out in the cold. Okay. Now, if you were dealing with a Capricorn and you are the person that cheated, then this person has doubts about you. And when they think about their feelings around you, it connects them into this tower and they get very much back into this tower energy. And they think back to this, betrayal, this mistreatment, and they want to keep you out in the cold. Okay. So that's those two situations. They're still very much in this pain. They're still very much in this hurt. It's not something where they're going to reach out. If you're dealing with a Capricorn, they're not in a space right now where you would want them to reach out to you, to be quite honest. All right, let's look at Aquarius. Okay. So if you're dealing with an Aquarius right now, okay, well, it's interesting. What I'm getting here is, they're working through trying to make decisions around you, and it's interesting energy because I feel like if you're dealing with an Aquarius, they're almost going back and forth between being very much in their mind in terms of like fears and anxiety and worry and like that type of mind thinking, and being very spiritually based and listening to their intuition. And they're going back and forth between these two. This is very Aquarius. I mean, I'm explaining them. They're going back and forth between these two. And it's not like they're not in control of it. It's a conscious choice that they're making. Again, this could be a situation where there was a third party involved here. So it could be that if you're dealing with an Aquarius, they're trying to make a decision between you and another person, and they're going they'll think about it for a while, and then they'll feel it for a while, and they'll think about it for a while and feel it for a while. And that's how they're going to ultimately make this decision. Again, they will be reaching a point where they come to clarity and they know what they want to do. All right. So I'm just gonna move these over. We'll get to Pisces in a minute. I need to talk about Aquarius. Okay, so you had a couple of cards come out here. I don't necessarily love the vibe of these cards. You have the Seven of Swords reversed coming out. You have the Four of Wands coming out reversed. You have the Three of Pentacles coming out reversed. This Three of Pentacles represents things not aligning, things not being in harmony, someone who works alone. This Four of Wands reversed, it represents conflict with others. It's not a stable foundation. It is energetically, it's not feeling great here. Seven of Swords, this represents someone who's keeping secrets. It can represent someone who's an imposter or someone who feels like they are an imposter. Okay, if you were dealing with an Aquarius, this feels very weird. But this is what I'm getting. So if you were dealing with an Aquarius, I would say it's probably best that you let that Aquarius be for now. If they are not reaching out to you, I would say good. It's good that they are not reaching out to you right now. If they do reach out, I wouldn't trust what they have to say, just to be really blunt and honest about that. I feel like there is someone else, maybe a water sign. It could be specifically a Scorpio that you have met or that has expressed an interest in you. I just feel like I need to say that there is a lot that could be had. If you do know who this water sign is, or if a water sign pops into your life, I would say invest your time in the water sign, let this Aquarius just be. Let them be. I don't like those cards. Sorry. I just have to tell you guys, those cards did not feel... I would not want to deal with that person. I wouldn't trust that person. And I feel like part of it is because, like, I do feel like they're trying to pick between you and somebody else. And for me, it's like, okay, well, if you're having this much trouble picking, I'll pick for you. Like, I don't want someone who can't easily know I'm the one, right? So that's my take on that. You could choose to read that energy differently if you really want to. But let's look at Pisces. Okay, well, Pisces, they're hanging out, they're taking their time, they're chilling, they're not in a ton of pain, but they're just, they're still withdrawn. They are in a situation where, bless Pisces, they don't know what they want right now. They aren't really sure. And they're trying to make some decisions, but they aren't ready to make decisions yet. They're not ready to, because it hurt. It hurt them a lot. Yeah. So how can I explain this? So Pisces right now, they're holding on to a lot of the pain around this that happened. And they're doing that because they know as long as they're hurting, they're not going to have to make this decision. And right now, they just really don't want to make the decision because they don't really feel like they're in a place where they emotionally are able to make that decision. Okay, so because they know that they need to, okay, I love Pisces. You're a fellow water sign. I have to say, though, Pisces can be really confusing because it's like, I know I need to be stronger before I can deal with this, right? I'm talking about the other person, okay? So I need to be stronger before I can do this, but I don't want to deal with the pain yet. So I'm going to just sort of like, I'm just going to sit with it. I'm just going to keep allowing myself to hurt a little bit so that eventually maybe I'll work through it, but they know they can't do that. So they're trying to manifest a situation where they can deal with this pain in a way other than just dealing with it head on, because they don't want to do that and they don't feel like they're strong enough to. And so they're all out of balance. They're all out of whack. They can't make up their mind about anything. Eventually, though, they will come to a decision, and they'll come forward with a message. It will be, it seems like it would be a message that would be, all right. They're going to come forward with a message. If you're dealing with a Pisces will come forward with a message that will appear on the surface to be very romantic, very, passionate. But the truth underneath this message is, it's, the Knight of Cups is sort of you might not be the only person that they're giving this type of message to. They might be seeing, okay, well, I'm going to go and see who bites the line, basically, who takes the bait. Because this card it's screaming competition to me. And the Knight of Cups is sort of like an inappropriate type of lover, basically, right? Like they would have several of these situations going. So this could be a player type energy, and there is lots of competition around this person. So just, have that as something that you keep in mind if you're dealing with a Pisces. So I think that wraps everything up in terms of the signs. I think we made our way through that. What I want to do for you guys, just lastly here, is for those of you who made it all the way through to the end, I'm going to pull an oracle card for you to wrap this up. If you did listen to me all the way through to the end here, I appreciate you so much for hanging out with me for an hour here, a little over an hour. Let me know what you thought about this reading in the comments. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Share it with someone if you have a friend who was ghosted and you feel like this might give them insight or give them any sort of comfort or peace. So let's see. What do I want to get for you guys? Here we go. So you have hope is the conduit for miracles. So, whatever you took away from this reading, try to find the hope in it, is what I think the message is saying here. Give yourself the chance to remain hopeful, believe that things can work out the way that you want them to. I hope that you guys did enjoy this video. I actually had a lot of fun doing this video. I'm really looking forward to doing some of these sorts of things during the month of October. And I appreciate you guys so much. I really honestly do. I appreciate all the love and support that you show up for the channel and for me. Again, you'll be seeing my face in the future videos. I'll have a little bit more time to set everything up and do that. I just wanted to make sure I got this one filmed today while I had a little space. So I love you guys so much. I hope you're doing well. Whatever's going on with you, you've got this. You can make it through. Check out the other readings as they come out. I'm really excited and I hope that you guys enjoy things that happen around here during the month of October. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.